Okay, so when we talk about AI in a company, pretty much every department has a role to play, right? But IT? Well, IT is in a totally unique spot. Think about it. They're not just a player on the field, they're the referee, the coach, and a star player all rolled into one. They're not just using AI, they're building the entire stadium and setting the rules of the game for everyone else. It's a role that's incredibly powerful, but also kind of dangerous.
And just so you know where this is all coming from, this explainer is based on Chapter 6 of a tutorial from Virtualization Options LLC.
So this really begs the question, doesn't it? In this whole new AI era, what is IT's actual job? Are they just another department using these tools, like marketing or finance? Or is there something more going on? Let's dig into that.
All right, here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about the two different hats IT has to wear. Then we'll look at the good and the bad of AI for IT. After that, we'll zoom out to see how IT governs AI for the whole company. And we'll wrap up with a simple 4-step plan to pull it all off.
Okay, so the most important thing to get your head around is this idea that IT is playing a dual role. You've got to think of them as wearing two hats at the same time. On one hand, they're an AI user, but on the other, they're also the AI governor. And even though those sound like totally different jobs, you're about to see just how connected they really are.
So what do I mean by user versus governor? Well, when IT wears the user hat, they're just like any other team. They're using AI tools to get their own work done faster and better, for things like writing code or beefing up security. But then they switch to the governor hat. And now, their job is to build the whole system, the infrastructure, the safety rules, the guardrails, so that everybody else in the company can use AI without, blowing things up.
All right, let's focus on that first hat for a minute. IT as a user of AI. And honestly, the benefits here are just huge. It's no surprise that IT teams are usually the first ones jumping on the AI bandwagon. Why? Because these tools can completely transform the way they do their day-to-day jobs.
And just look at some of these use cases. We're not talking about small improvements here. This is a total game changer, a massive productivity boost. You've got AI helping generate code, which speeds up development like crazy. It's combing through security data, finding threats that a person could easily overlook. Heck, it's even helping manage infrastructure and handling IT support tickets automatically. It's pretty amazing.
But you knew there was a but, right? With all that power comes some pretty serious risk. You have to remember, IT holds the keys to the kingdom. They manage the most sensitive systems and data in the whole company. So when they use AI, the stakes are just way, way higher. The same tools that make them so productive can also punch giant holes in their security.
And there are 4 big worries you really need to be aware of. First up is exposing your intellectual property. Imagine your secret source code getting slurped up by a public AI model. Yikes. Second, what about the code the AI writes? It might look good, but it could be riddled with hidden security bugs. Third, think about this. If you give an AI tool access to your systems, you've just created a brand new, very shiny target for hackers. And finally, you can become too dependent on it. What happens if a key business process now relies on an AI tool, and that tool goes down?
Okay, so dealing with all those internal risks. It's actually the perfect prep for IT's other job. It's the training ground for wearing that second hat, the AI governor. Because once they've figured out how to protect themselves, they're ready to scale that up. Their job now becomes building the tech foundation that lets the whole company use AI safely. So what does that technical foundation look like? Well, here's the playbook. You absolutely need an API gateway to act as a central traffic cop, controlling who gets to use which AI service. You need rock-solid data classification and protection, so your confidential data never ever ends up in a model it shouldn't. Then there's monitoring. You gotta watch how people are using these tools. You need to provide safe sandboxes where people can experiment without breaking things. And of course, you need a plan for when something goes wrong, because let's be real, it will.
I know. That sounds like a massive undertaking, and it can feel a little overwhelming. But the good news is, you don't have to boil the ocean. The source material actually gives us a really clear step-by-step plan for how IT can tackle this, moving from the very beginning stages all the way to rolling it out for everyone.
And the whole strategy is really logical. It all starts with a quick assessment phase, maybe 4 to 6 weeks, just to get the lay of the land, see what tools people are already using. Then, you spend the next couple of months, say 8 to 12 weeks, building that solid security foundation we just talked about. After that's in place, IT runs a pilot on itself. They eat their own dog food. They become the guinea pig. And by learning from their own mistakes and successes, they're then in the perfect position to start enabling the rest of the company. And that part is ongoing.
And this quote right here really nails it. The IT department's approach to AI governance often sets the tone for the entire organization. It's so true.
When IT shows everyone how to use AI responsibly while still being innovative, it sets the perfect example. It's like they're creating the blueprint for the rest of the company. This isn't just about technical leadership, it's about setting the entire culture around AI.
Which of course leads us to the big question you should be asking yourself. What about your IT department? Are they ready to wear both of these hats? Are they prepared to be a responsible user and a smart governor at the same time? Because honestly, how well they can juggle those two roles might just be the single biggest factor in whether your company's entire AI strategy succeeds or fails.